everybody. I'm recording a video to help you all with your grant essay. Since it is your very first essay, I wanted to go ahead and create a video to take you all the way through it. I'm trying to make this 15 minutes, so I'm going to get started rather quickly, and I'm going to move rather quickly. So I'm already sitting on task 9, and what you would do if you were doing this assignment, the very first thing you would do is copy the entire assignment all the way down to where it says rubric. Copy that, go to Google Docs, open up a document, paste in that text, and that way you'll be ready to go. Now, I designed these essays so that you can follow along with them and get it finished. It is something that guides you step by step. So in this very first part, this is a little introduction into the essay, and I'm not going to read it because I have to move quickly. I only have 15 minutes to spend with you here. So this introduction basically tells you what you're writing about, and you're writing about Reconstruction, and you're going to tell me the goods and the bads. That is the purpose of the essay, is to put everything together and tell me the pros and the cons. There were some goods, there were some bads. On every essay, though, the very first thing that you want to do is you want to put your header at the very top. So I have just highlighted that right here where it says your name, my name, class name, day, month, year. You're going to take this, you're going to cut it, edit, cut. You're going to click up here at the top, press enter, hit the up arrow, go to edit, paste. There's your header. You'll need to change here and put your name, and then you'll need to put the day, 8, the month, September, year, 2020. Okay? The very next thing that goes in this essay is the title. So if you scroll down, you'll see there's your title. So highlight it, cut it, go back here and click under the date right here, and then go edit, paste, give it a title. You can just say Grant Evaluation Essay. Okay? Ready to go. Then scroll down. You can see here I tell you what should be in your introduction. We are going to write 3 sentences. We will have an opener, which will either be a question, quote, statistic, description that introduces the topic. We will then have a transition sentence to connect the starter sentence with the thesis. And then you have this thesis. Now, once again, whatever I give you in these essays, you are welcome to use. I recommend you change it a little bit so you can get used to writing on your own. But if you don't want to change it, that's fine. You can use exactly what I give you. As we progress, I will be giving you less and less, so you'll have to get used to doing a little bit on your own as we go, and even more as we approach the end. Okay? Now, I want you to notice that in this introduction, I gave you a quote. So let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's use the quote I gave you. And the starter sentence. So we have, when Abraham Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address, he told Americans he hoped the Civil War would result in a new birth of freedom. However, as we know, Reconstruction did not effectively ensure freedom for everyone, and it resulted in a lot of corruption, struggles for minorities, all kinds of problems. All right? So we're going to click right here in front of when. We're going to hit tab to show the reader, hey, this is my first paragraph, okay? You have to tab over to show the beginnings of paragraphs in a formal essay. All right, so we have our starter sentence. And we also have down here, in this part right here, we have our thesis. So guys, what I'm going to do real quick is I am going to, right here where it says write an essay, I'm going to highlight all this down to the thesis. I'm going to highlight all this down to the thesis, down to the quote and the thesis, and I'm going to press delete. Okay? And then I'm going to delete the extra quote. So now we have your opener. The last sentence of your first paragraph is always your thesis that tells me, the reader, what you're going to talk about in your essay. And then in the middle, we have this however in 2 sentences here, which we're actually going to change a little bit, okay? All right, so I'm going to leave the however, but I'm going to get rid of this phrase as you learned, because we don't want any phrases in our essay that use the word you, okay? And now we are done with our introduction. Super easy. Okay? You're done with it. So let's go to body paragraph 1. Same method. We have information here about the topic sentence. Okay? Then we have 3 examples, and we're going to connect these examples with our transition words. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Okay. So right here it says write a topic sentence, introduces the idea Reconstruction resulted in many unfortunate events. Once again, I gave you a sentence you can start with. So keep that sentence. Reconstruction resulted in many unfortunate and unforeseen events. Great topic sentence. All right. Delete this 3 examples that are fully explained. We need to get rid of that. Okay? Then we're going to start with our first example and first transition words, okay? So I'm going to highlight here where it says examples of how, number 1, and examples of how. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to type the word first, okay? All right, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to click in front of first here, and I'm going to hit the backspace to make sure I don't have any extra spaces. All right. Now, on this sentence, first, slavery was reinvented with the convict labor system. I'm going to add to it and explain how slavery was reinvented with the convict labor system. And you might remember that we learned about this, where people were taken and they were arrested and they couldn't pay their fine. Someone came along and said they needed workers, and they would take the workers, and basically they would work for free. All right. So, invented with the convict labor system, which resulted in some prisoners being taken to work and not paid for their labor. All right? So, we explained that. Second example, we're going to talk about at least two scandals. All right? So, we're going to use our transition word here, next. Right here it says try to next, use a different one. Next, scandals occurred such as the whiskey ring, and I'm just going to use the Indian ring. Now we need to make sure we explain those. So let's get ready to explain them. Once again, go in front of next and hit backspace to make sure you got your paragraph together. Okay. The whiskey ring involved people taking money for themselves and robbing the government. I'm going to make a compound sentence. I'm going to put a comma after government. And the Indian ring resulted in Native Americans not getting the supplies they needed, so that some starved to death, starved or froze to death. All right, and then our third example here is we're going to use then or finally to start it out. We're using our transition words. And then I would say, then, I think I'll use then because I was just talking about the Native Americans. Then, minority issues such as so I'm going to change this. Then, the massacre at Wounded Knee resulted in the death of over 200 as the U.S. military tried to move them to a new reservation. All right. Now I'm going to delete this sentence, connect these examples, and we're done with that paragraph. Okay, so now we're ready for body paragraph 3, doing the exact same thing. Notice this Direction has a sentence we can use. Reconstruction had some positives. So I'm going to just delete everything but Reconstruction have some positives, and then I just hit the tab key. All right? And then we're going to use our examples, and we're going to use our transition words. For example, for instance, next, also, etc. Okay, so here we go. So here are our positives. So just backspace, and then go, for example, comma, the Reconstruction Act. Get rid of this dash. We don't need it anymore. I'm just going to turn these into complete sentences. Rebuilt the Union and declared that the South had to rewrite constitutions and approve the 14th Amendment. Okay, we're done with that. All right, let's get our other sentence. Let's use also. The Freedmen's Bureau set up schools and provided medical care for former slaves who were trying to rebuild their lives. Then we're going to use Civil Rights Act. Then the Civil Rights Act of 1864, get rid of your dash, attempted to prevent discrimination in public places. And then let's use finally, the 14th and 15th Amendments, and let's get rid of that dash, gave citizenship and the right to vote to former slaves. That is it. Very good. Let's get rid of this direction right here. Body paragraph 3, we're ready for it. Write a topic sentence that introduces the idea. And so we have one here. The effect of Reconstruction was the rising power of the big businessmen. Okay, so let's fix this sentence. So we're going to delete all this part down to the word the. We'll make the capital. Ooh, we got some bolding there that we weren't supposed to get. That's okay, we can fix it. Highlight it, hit the B, hit it twice, and it's fixed. Put your cursor in front of the, press tab. The effect of Reconstruction was the rising power of big businessmen. You're ready to go. You're going to use all of these examples. Let's get rid of that direction. Let's get ready to use these transition words. First, second, third. Okay, first. So delete, 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 delete. First, comma. John Rockefeller and Standard Oil Company helped people heat and light their homes. Delete in front of 2. Put your cursor in front of C. Cyrus McCormick, delete, delete, delete. Second, Cyrus McCormick and farm equipment production. Cyrus McCormick and farm equipment production increased farming, and let's see, I have to fix this so that it relates to rebuilding the nation and allowed people to move out west and populate new states. Let's just put it that way. All right, then in front of Cornelius Vanderbilt, in front of the C, delete, 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 delete. Let's put third, comma, Cornelius Vanderbilt created railroads to help settle the West and increase trade. All right. And then in front of the A and Andrew Carnegie, delete, 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 delete. Fourth, Andrew Carnegie created the steel industry that provided building materials for large cities. Okay, then delete your instructions. We're ready for our conclusion. Restate your thesis using different words. And then explain how this period of history affects our future and why it's important. And don't use any of these words here. Okay, so I hope I make it. I think I just got a minute. So the purpose of this essay was to show Reconstruction had goods and bads. It is important to study this time in order to understand how some problems occur after a time of war. Perhaps next time when wars occur, the U.S. government can avoid these issues and ensure freedom for all. All right, then you delete your instructions. You're absolutely done. and you have a beautiful, beautiful essay. Thanks for tuning in, kids. We'll talk to you later.